Hello Year 6 and welcome to today's literacy video. As I'm going through the presentation, make sure that you are paying attention. Right then, today it is our hot task and we're going to be writing the diary entry about August's first day at school. Before we start having a look at our main task, we've got a starter for you to have a go at. I'd like you to fill in the pronouns below with the correct combinations. So you can pause the video and have a go at filling in the blanks. Right, and let's have a look at the answers. He said that he was better at basketball than me. They said that the skateboard in the shed was mine if I wanted it. My friends said that he had biscuits that were tastier than mine. For these two here, you could also have swapped these around. So you might have had, he said that the skateboard in the shed was mine if I wanted it. Or you could also have had here, my friends said that they had biscuits that were tastier than mine. Right, that's our starter activity. Let's have a look at our main task. So today and tomorrow, we're going to be writing our hot task. You're going to be writing the diary entry of August's first day at school. Now, we've been doing a lot of work over the past 4 weeks leading us up to this point. So you've got a lot of knowledge to help you today and tomorrow write this. And even though you're not in school, I would still like you to treat it at home like a hot task. So when you're doing the first draft, don't worry too much about spellings or things like that, because as like what we do in school, once you have done your first draft, you can go back over, you can check it, you can use a dictionary if you've got one at home to check the spellings, and then any other grammatical errors that you've made. So what we're going to do is go through 3 paragraphs. That's the first 3 paragraphs that you planned yesterday. I'm going to go through my examples, and then at the end of the video you can have a go and write your own. If you would like to do it where you listen to me read out the first paragraph and then you pause it and then have a go at doing it yourself and then listen to the second paragraph, you can also do it that way. It's up to you. Let's have a look at the first one. What I'd like you to do is pause the video, have a read of the first paragraph yourself now, and see if you can identify any of the devices that I've used which match our toolbox for diary entries. Okay, let's have a look through it together. So paragraph 1, I've got the date here as a diary entry, and I've also got the address, Dear Diary. I was awoken early by cheerful birdsong and the early morning sun peering through my window. My relaxed mood didn't last long as realisation hit me faster than a bolt of lightning. It was my first day of school. So here, this is a short sentence for effect. Reluctantly, this is a fronted adverbial, reluctantly, I got ready and dragged myself downstairs. My stomach spun like a washing machine as I nibbled at my toast. So here I'm using show, not tell. I'm not telling the reader that I'm nervous, but I'm explaining that my stomach is like a washing machine. Therefore, I'm not feeling relaxed, I'm feeling unsettled. I wasn't hungry, obviously. So I've used a dash there to show what my feeling is. Before we left, another fronted adverbial, my parents demanded that Via and I pose for photos. I tried to smile, but my nerves were spreading through me like weeds. Okay, so that was my first paragraph. So as I said, if you'd like to pause the video and have a go at writing your first paragraph now, you can do, or let's go straight on to the second paragraph. Pause the video now, read through the second paragraph and see if you can identify any other devices from our diary toolbox. Okay, let's have a look together. It was time to go, short sentence for effect. Mum, Dad and Via all walked to school with me, which I was grateful for. Which is a relative pronoun, which means it's introduced the relative clause here, which I was grateful for, giving you more information about giving you more information about this part here. Familiar streets had become unfamiliar. I'd never seen them during the morning rush. There were people everywhere. You might have also have noticed that this part here, I'd never seen them during the morning. Ooh, keeps jumping. I'd never seen them during the morning rush. That part there is parenthesis. Remember, parenthesis always uses the punctuation, brackets, dashes, or commas. In this case, commas have been used. And you can take it out of the sentence, and then the rest of the sentence will still make sense. So we can check it by saying familiar streets had become unfamiliar. There were people everywhere. So that still makes sense. So we've got parenthesis used here. All too soon, another fronted adverbial. Teacher prep came into view. Trying to reassure me, that's a fronted adverbial. Vivian said that everybody got nervous on their first day. I don't think it's quite the same for the other kids though. Out of the corner of my eye, fronted adverbial, I spotted a group of girls staring at me and whispering. Thankfully, fronted adverbial, there's lots of fronted adverbials in this paragraph. They stopped as soon as I looked at them. Mum enveloped me in a hug, but I could tell she was going to start blubbering, so I quickly hugged her and darted off. Now, there's obviously quite a lot of fronted adverbials in that paragraph, and this is something I want you to think about as you're writing yours. Remember what we've said in class about varying our sentence starters? I have used fronted adverbials rather than saying each time I, then. It makes it more varied. So if you can get fronted adverbials in your work, it makes it a lot more interesting for the reader to actually read. Right then, let's have a look at the last paragraph that I'm expecting you to write today, paragraph 3. Again, you can pause the video here and go through and see what other devices you can spot that I've used. Right, let's have a look together. Immediately, I dashed to my homeroom, 301. Keeping my head down, I found it in no time thanks to going on the tour. Charlotte and Jack greeted me as I sat at a desk in the middle of the room. The other kids couldn't obviously stare at me there, which made me feel a little better. Registration began with Miss Petosa asking us to introduce ourselves. By the time it was my turn, beads of sweat had formed on my forehead and I desperately tried to hide my shaking hands. It went okay until Julian noticed my braid and suggested I liked Darth Sidious. Why would he say that to me? Let's have a look at those devices then. So hopefully you notice, well, there's brackets here for adding extra information. In fact, I've missed one. We've got our fronted adverbial there. Another fronted adverbial here, keeping my head down. This part here, the other kids couldn't obviously stare at me there. Hopefully you've noticed that that's parenthesis again, because we could read out the rest of the sentence as Charlotte and Jack greeted me as I sat at a desk in the middle of the room, which made me feel a little better. So we've got brackets there used as parenthesis, and then we've also got another relative clause here, which is introduced by the relative pronoun which. Registration began with Miss Petosa asking us to introduce ourselves. By the time it was my turn, so I have another fronted adverbial there. And let's have a look. And then it finishes here. Hopefully you notice this device. It finishes there with a rhetorical question. Okay, so that's all I'm expecting you to write today. So it's just the first 3 paragraphs, and the reason why I've said that is because I don't want you to feel like you've got to do everything today. I don't want you to rush what you're doing. Hopefully you've seen from my example that I've just read out, you don't need to include every device in every single paragraph. It's about effective use of those devices. If you have any questions about the work, make sure you ask them on the Purple Mash blog today, and I'm really excited to read what you write. Have a great day.